Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your Pisces July 2022 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant. For those of you who are stopping by for the first time, and for the subscribers, you know how much I love to see you each month. I think about you all the time, really I do, and send energy your way, which you will feel in bursts throughout the month. I love doing readings for Pisceans. I'm very, very attached to Piscean energy. Piscean women in particular are extremely alluring, I think. But enough of that. What I want to do is draw 5 cards for you now. Now, if you do want to have your own personal one-on-one clairvoyant experience with me, as I have done with Pisceans in the course of last month, just check out the information that's in the description box below. And you can have it from anywhere in the world. And the website link will show you the fees which apply to you where you live, your currency, and other currencies can be managed as well from other countries if PayPal accepts them. Now, what we're going to do is take 5 cards and do your reading for you now, which is free, of course, and great. People love these readings, and I love doing it for Pisces in particular. I have, as I say, a great affinity with Pisces. What shall we do? Take this, which is what? The Magician. Do you know, you probably won't see these cards around much at all. The reason being is that they're out of print. And there's the 4 of Wands. Beautiful. The reason being that the developer has said, I've done enough. I've produced some great, this is the King of Swords, some great art, and I'm satisfied with that. And I'm not going to do anything else. I've got other things to do, which we do, don't we, from time to time. There's the 9 of Swords. Beautiful, beautiful stark image, that. And what else is there here? I'll put this one down. And there is the 8 of Cups. Fine. Well, why don't you now, as is our usual practice, come sit down here next to me. We can do this together. We'll look at the imagery on the cards together while I do the reading for you. Right, let's deal first with the Magician. You drew it first, so we'll see what it has to say for you, shall we? I think it's going to be good. Just make sure that is plugged in. It is. Now let's have a look so I can do some focusing. There. Okay. Now, here is the Magician. Well, the Magician is a conduit, I think. Now, that doesn't mean that he is so great and powerful that he can do anything he pleases. The true Magician realizes that he is simply tapping into something greater than himself, and that, at least for a moment, he can give something form. That's why one hand is pointing up and the other is pointing down, to indicate source and direction. Now, it's very much related to Mercury here, the ruler of alchemy, and this is about you creating something divine and new. All of your inner resources are required, which is why the symbols, you can see them here in the blue, the symbols for water, earth, air, and fire are included. To create magic, your heart, body, brain, and soul must all be engaged. Now, in his duality, Mercury stands for truth and for falsehood. He brings all set ideas and judgments into question, which often make him appear in a questionable light himself. As a creative creature, he knows no conscience. He uses all tools, all methods to arrive at his goal. There is the temptation, obviously, to misuse his talents. His ability and skill lend him to superiority and power. He moves on the narrow border between white and dark magic. Now, this means he needs constant self-examination. He can use his talents in a self-seeking manner or in the service of love and light. You are constantly creating. You are creating your own destiny. Have I told you the difference as to how I view fate and destiny? Fate is the blueprint that is set out for you when you come to this material plane. Destiny is how you make choices and move forward along a right path, and where you stop paying attention to what is the right path in your destiny, then fate takes over. But you are creating all the time for yourself. You have at your disposal brilliant capabilities now which you should share with other people. Now, one important task is to find or create the proper surroundings for your activities. In what areas lie your talents? With what methods and in what surroundings can you share them with others? Visualize your ideal area of activity. Describe it. And say to yourself, I create magic when I use my inherent gifts and talents. I honor the resources of skilled communication which are within me. The full expression of my creative potential fulfills me and makes me happy and satisfied. There is something else which needs to be shared with you at this moment, and it is this, that there is nothing you cannot be, there is nothing you cannot do, and there is nothing you cannot have. You are the most magnificent, the most remarkable, the most splendid being God has ever created. For who could reject such wondrous magnificence? But you do not know who you are, and you think you are a great deal less. You are your own rule maker. You are the only one who can assess how you are doing. All you see in the world is your idea about it. Now understand that life will take off for you when you choose for it to. Well, there's an interesting card sitting underneath this, isn't there? And this is the Nine of Swords. Let me see. You're on the King of Swords here, and you're opposite the Four of Wands, so this is not so bad, actually, at all. And you've got the Eight of Cups there, which I'll deal with next. Let's have a look at that. Now, there are thoughts that will not lie down. It's just you and them, which means there's no comparing them to reality or being able to express them so that someone can contradict them. This is the card of waking up at 3 a.m. with your head spinning, letting you know all the ways you are letting yourself down. Now, the brain can eat itself if you let it. It's important to remember that this energy is not grounded at all. There's no light here, meaning there's no wisdom or even consciousness in a way. It's subconsciousness. It's all just an anxious swirl, and you can spin demons out of thin air. Now, the astrology of this card is, and it may give you some indication as to why things are going askew sometimes in your mind, is because it is Mars ruling the second Decan of Gemini, 1st to the 11th of June. Well, the one-pointed nature of Mars doesn't sit well with the scattered energy of Gemini. And I have an association here in the number 9 with the planet of the Moon, which is about very much the unconscious, the subconscious. So there's a period here where there may be some self-induced mental cruelty going on. Now, very often thoughts that we have, they enter late at night when you are feeling the most vulnerable. Guilt, worry, anxiety, sorrow, and suffering torture you, leaving you alone, locked in your personal prison, where isolation and loneliness prevail. Your inner demons haunt you with fear and doubt, causing emotional pain and anguish. Now, this 9 here is the epitome of the dark night of the soul. The key to the 9 of Swords is to recognize, confront, and work through your pain. Now, be that through meditation or counseling or prayer. You need to shift the enemy, the enemy correctly, but the energy as well. So the painful situation will pass. The gift of the 9 of Swords is the realization that you are not alone, but you are connected to the greater whole and to the divine. You are a soldier of the light, a need to forever follow that loving light with every thought you make and action that you take. Now, in a sense, with the Nine of Swords, you possibly created your personal dungeon. All the negative actions or thoughts you have suppressed and avoided come back full circle to haunt you. These thought patterns and actions have imprisoned you in a web of circumstances where it seems impossible to free yourself. The mind, that is your ego, is being tortured with no apparent escape. Your first instinct is to blame others or circumstances for your situation. But hiding in the dark won't help. And that dark shield of hiding behind other people won't work anymore. The spirit has brought you to your knees, perhaps, to face your personal demons and put you back on the path of love and light. It's time to confront these dark places and demons, neutralizing them by shifting your focus from negative thinking to a higher consciousness. Now, sometimes, very often, we bring things over and over and over in our head about things that we have done in the past, about things we've said, about loves that have been lost, about where we didn't stand up for ourselves or where something didn't turn out the way we wanted. And we torture ourselves. But the Spirit wants you to know that despite what you may believe, you can disappoint people and still be good enough. You can make mistakes and still be capable and talented. You can let people down and still be worthwhile and deserving of love. Everybody has disappointed someone they care about. Everybody messes up, lets people down, makes mistakes, not because we're inadequate or fundamentally inept, but because we're imperfect and fundamentally human. And expecting anything different is just setting yourself up for failure, because nobody is perfect. Now, very much associated with that energy is this energy, which is looked at with this card. And here we have a picture, don't we, of someone really turning into the night to look for something, to find something. Now, this is Saturn ruling the first decan of Pisces. The first decan, as you would know, is the 19th of February till the end of the month, the 28th or the 29th of February. Now, as you look, Saturn has a lot of good aspects to it, I think. I don't, in line with modern astrologers, believe that Saturn is a great malefic planet. I actually think it's very much about bringing you back into the path so that you can live a proper destiny and have a loving, successful life. But very often people see Saturn as having structure, organization, discipline, heavy energy and responsibility attached to it. Whereas Pisces is intuitive, spiritual, can be very emotional. I see with the number 8 here an association with the planet of Mercury. So what you have is, in a sense, from an astrological point of view, is that you have Saturn coming in to completely deaden the waters of Pisces. Saturn dominates and suffocates the joy of Pisces, and then there's the flightiness of Mercury present. So the overall influence resembles dark Saturn with no growth. The other thing is that Mercury is in detriment in Pisces, so we have a conflict there as well. But the other thing I'll say is this, though, that the 8, on the flip side of the number 8, that is about manifestation, about practicality, about skill, and about being decisive. But I think that this 8 of Cups here, it's encouraging you to dig deep inside places that the ego does not want to explore. Now, these places on your path of evolution can be dark and scary, yet intuitively, you know you must continue to examine the shadow parts of yourself, the mystery self. Now, these are dark places that need to be confronted and owned, taking responsibility with forgiveness. I think that this card here symbolizes the journey of spiritual introspection, meditation, and dream work. It is the pilgrimage of the soul, in a sense. This 8 signals a time to focus on personal truth and spiritual growth. So pay attention to the inspirations and messages that come to you through dreams and meditations. Now, this can represent changing a routine, a relationship, moving to a new location, but it also talks about releasing of old patterns or lifestyles, or abandoning current plans or projects because they're not going to work out. You've determined. Now, it symbolizes, I think, also a needed withdrawal, a retreat, so you can re-examine your priorities and your actions and your life, bringing in healing, new concepts to restore your inner balance. Now, with this card, you have, I think, now consciously making a choice to let go and embrace new ideals and insights. Your authentic self is beckoning you to travel to higher vistas, to accept an impending change and to liberate yourself. So it's a time, I think, for you to consider yourself and to put some limits around yourself for yourself and to say no to certain things. It may be an older behavior pattern to always direct your love towards people from whom nothing comes in return. Now, this may be a sign indicating your fears of accepting love. And what people come to mind for you in this context? Are you ready to dare to set limits and stand by them? In what situations do you hide your true feelings? I'd say this, though. In the Hebrew Bible or the Christian Old Testament, there's a book there called the Book of Psalms. And there's a Psalm 16, verse 5, which I'm sure says, "The Lord is my allotted share and portion. You control my fate." Now, I'm not selling religion, but meditating on that verse, you'll find that with every step you take and each moment that passes, you will feel comfort, confidence, and a stronger sense of direction. Now, I think we'll have a look at this King of Swords that's sitting under that 8. This is very much an intellectual card. Let's have a look at him. There he is. So intellectual, in fact, so caught up in the mind that he almost appears to be levitating, doesn't he? It's as if you are levitating. He's the intellect of intellect. Now, important to you at this time, I think, are going to be Gemini and Taurus. He is the lord of winds and breezes. Why am I getting Gemini and Taurus? Because I think that you will have the energy of the mind in... See, this is going to be you are going to overcome these issues that were dealt with by these 2 cards here by virtue of this central energy. And we'll see how it turns out there. I think we've got the energy of the mind in Gemini with the influence and stability and determination of Taurus, Taurus being a fixed earth sign. So he is a man, and of course court cards can be of either gender, who is active, clever, skillful, fierce and courageous, but possibly unreflective about things from time to time. He's very goal-oriented, ambitious. You'll have a great degree of flexible intellectual power during this period, and I think that you'll find that you have a great degree of passion with you. Passion. His strong intellectual determination is unified with a deep emotional perceptiveness, and only goals which are emotionally charged can kindle such passion. Body, intellect, and spirit are in harmony with you at this time. Now you'll find that you get a clear insight into a problem, working quickly to set goals without letting anything get into the way. Now this may well be a restless period where you are transitioning, I see, from these dark thoughts that you were looking for and trying to get somewhere else, either in your everyday life, in yourself, or by traveling. But it's time to listen to the head rather than the heart. I get the impression that he is more comfortable in his head than he is in expressing his feelings, but that's not you. But don't let empathy and compassion distract you during this time. I think this king here is indicating restlessness in all areas of life. Maybe you want to break free in the workplace. Now you might find out of someone else of a relationship that breaks up, gets back together, breaks up, gets back together, breaks up, gets back together, drives everybody crazy. That's something which could well be going on around you, I think. But you are now in a good position to forge plans, to set goals, and to bring them into fruition. But ask yourself this question: do you actually know your goal? Are you able to briefly state clearly what it is in one sentence? And what happens when you achieve your goal? Imagine how you will best be able to enjoy your success. And say to yourself now, I know my goal, and I know what I am working towards. Each goal is just a milestone on the way to my ultimate destination. And then we come to, I think it's the final card, isn't it? Yes, it is. It's this one, the Four of Wands. So see how this is, you're creating your own life, you're overcoming your demons. And then it's finishing with this, which is the Lord of Perfected Work, otherwise known as the Four of Wands to the uninitiated. Now here it's Venus. Now Venus is exalted in Pisces, if I'm not mistaken. Venus ruling the third decan of Aries at 10th to the 19th of April. Well, Venus, because I'm looking at these things, Venus looks after two signs. It governs two signs, Taurus and Libra. But with these wands sticking up into the air, I'm assigning it to Libra. And so what I'm saying is that for Venus to travel into Aries, it needs to go to the diametrically opposed side of the zodiac wheel, 180 degrees away. And so it's going to be in detriment. Venus is in detriment in Aries. But the other thing is this, is that Aries is governed by Mars. And you may ask yourself, well, what is going to go on when Venus and Mars are sitting together in a situation? You can also look at the number 4 here. Now 4 is talking about foundation, completeness, progress, power, stability. But Venus and Mars sitting together like this, I think, was where this card is placed, and with the King of Swords being this fire sign, this air sign touching up against the fire sign, they get together and they strengthen each other. And so what I think you'll see there is, I think that you'll see Venus, rather than being dispelled by Mars, Venus is actually going to bring harmony and peace into Aries. And she's going to tame the aggressive Mars. And it's sort of like you'll find an opposites attract action going on, I think. So you might find that you have an interest in something that you didn't have an interest in before. You might look twice at somebody that you had looked at before, had dismissed before. You might discover new things that previously you hadn't been interested in at all. They provide you with satisfaction. You might also have an emotional idea, that's Venus, to move off into a new direction, which is Aries. This is about completion, unity, certainly the possibility of new beginnings here for you. It's foundations. It's a green light to success. First stage of completion. Maybe moving home is something that's there. See, Venus, the symbol of beauty and love, combines with Aries to form the principle of new beginnings. The heart pushes forth and seeks the development of the beautiful in new directions. But before the new can arise, the old must be complete, and the conflict between opposites must be resolved in a way which will further you on the way towards your highest goal. Now, tension in relationships can work positively when the individuality of each partner is recognized and respected. This makes it possible for you to support one another in moving forward. Now, something beautiful is making its way into your relationships. You may notice at first as established conditions are called into question and discussed openly. Clarifying the old is a prerequisite for a new oneness, a new beginning. Are you prepared to accept your partner as she or he is in spite of your differences? What are areas that are in urgent need of clarification or resolution? If there is some tension between you and somebody else, now is a good time to clarify and resolve the interaction and complete the old. Say this to yourself: completing the old frees me for the new. Well, what an extremely interesting set of cards for you this month, and a great month. Good job. It's the way it is for you. What a fascinating and uplifting month for you this is going to be. I hope you enjoyed that reading as much as I did providing it to you. I certainly love seeing you each month, and I look forward to doing it. I can't wait to do the next one. And until the next time, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.